What is all this, you might ask? Good question. Well, these fabrics here are the foundation for a new material collection I've been working on. And the reason is simple. Getting a realistic fabric material in 3D can be tricky, especially if you're trying to create them procedurally in software like Substance Designer. It's not impossible and you can get good results, but using a real surface gives us all the realism we need right out of the box. It's kind of like trying to model a tricky object like a croissant instead of just scanning it. You could get close with modeling, but you probably won't be able to beat the real world object. Now, unlike scanning models, scanning surfaces requires much more sophisticated hardware and software. We could get something useful with a phone, but it's not gonna be the same as dedicated hardware. And up until a couple of months ago, I didn't have the means to produce the results I wanted. That changed when I interviewed COLORMASS, a company that, among other things, has a custom scanner capable of delivering exactly the quality I had in mind. I'll link the interview in the description below, so if you're interested into this kind of thing, definitely check them out. It's genuinely fascinating stuff. So when I saw what their scanner could do, I was immediately sold. I finally had all the pieces in place to produce a really cool collection. Once you start digging into fabrics, you realize just how massive the topic really is. There are so many different types, each serving a different purpose. These ones, for example, are great for furniture. They're thick, sturdy, and can handle far more wear and tear than the kinds of fabrics we use for clothing. Clothing fabrics, on the other hand, are much softer and gentler to the touch, like these ones here. And that makes sense, no one wants to feel like they're wearing a burlap sack. This one here is great for blankets or throws. The leather materials are excellent for both clothing and furniture. You won't be super comfortable wearing it, but you can if you want to. Unfortunately, what I cannot show you here is how different they all feel to the touch. But as you can see, the visual variety alone is huge. I wanted to cover as many categories as possible with this collection, but of course, what you see here is just a small sample of what's out there in the real world. The collection will have 50 materials in total, but the plan is to make the library as rich as possible with future updates, so more materials are coming in the future. Now, let me show you just how close we can get to the real thing. This is really cool. Each material is made up of either 8 or 10 textures. If it's a thick, non-transparent fabric, it will have 8 textures. But if the fabric is transparent, it'll have 2 more. One for the alpha channel and one for the transmission color. As you can see, all the characteristics of each fabric are captured. Every thread, every tiny imperfection, it's all there. The system can even capture really delicate fabrics, like this one here. I went in knowing they would look good, but as I worked on them, I couldn't stop being impressed by the results. But before we get the final material, there are several steps that need to happen to bring everything together. So let's go behind the scenes and take a look at what it takes to produce these materials. It all starts with this custom-built scanner. The system quickly captures a series of images while shining light on the surface from different angles. Once all the data is processed, we end up with a series of high-resolution images that perfectly describe the fabric. And this is where the fun begins. If we were to use these images straight out of the scanner, the result would be less than ideal. That's because we first need to process them to remove imperfections and, most importantly, make them tileable. Let me show you what I mean. If I enable tiling at this stage, you'll see some very obvious issues, which is expected. This is just a cropped piece of a larger fabric sample, so we cannot expect it to tile right away. We need to first fix the imperfections. Some of those imperfections, like inconsistent line thickness, slightly warped shapes, or variations in color intensity, are the elements that make the material feel real. But we also need to transform the image into a state that makes it usable as a material. So we need to strike this balance between making elements good enough for tiling, but also maintaining the character of the fabric. This is where the custom software built specifically for this type of work comes into play. Once I define the pattern, the system can detect all these small variations and correct them automatically. Once everything is set up, if we switch to the final result and enable tiling, you'll see that everything now tiles perfectly. This one though is a relatively simple example. Things can get much more complicated with finer and more delicate threading. From afar, the surface looks great, but if I zoom in, you'll notice there's some waviness we need to correct. The vertical lines aren't completely straight, and the same goes for the horizontal ones. Thankfully, with a combination of automated detection and some manual tweaking, we can reposition the elements where they need to be and create an area that tiles successfully. As you can see, the surface is a lot wobblier than it first appears. Now, with everything defined, if we switch to the final result, we have a nice, clean area. But these adjustments are just the tip of the iceberg. Fabric is a pliable material, so we get all sorts of folds and imperfections. They might not be visible in all texture maps, but they will show up in some of them, and as a result, in the final material. Here, for example, the diffuse map looks fine, but if we switch to the normal map, we can see all sorts of issues. We have these creases here, this fold here, and these small raised and sunken areas. That's totally expected. It's a piece of fabric, so it's never going to be perfect no matter how carefully you scan it. But we still need to fix these areas. This part is handled differently by adjusting the image gradients. It's a process that can be applied selectively on one or all maps, and once that's done, we're left with a clean, even result. Now, there's one last adjustment to go, and that's removing the tiny imperfections like stray fabric strands or bits of lint that shouldn't be there. No matter how careful you are, these always sneak in, so we need to make sure to stamp them out. This is where the custom software comes in handy, because keep in mind that these changes need to propagate to all the other textures and not just the diffuse map. A piece of lint can show up on several channels. Thankfully, this custom software from COLORMASS has the ability to apply all these changes to all the maps at the same time. Now, all that's left to do is repeat the process 50 more times for every material of the collection. With the maps now complete, the next step is to create the final materials. With this release and the ones that will follow, I want to try something new. I want these materials to be available to as many users as possible. So, along with Cinema 4D, the library is also available for Blender. And because you might not be using either one of these, the collection also comes as bare textures that you can hook up to any 3D software you like. So, whether you're a 3D Studio Max user or prefer using Octane for your renders, it doesn't matter. You can recreate the same materials from the ready-made libraries just by using the textures in these cleanly organized folders. Of course, using the libraries will be easier. You will get drag and drop functionality, tags, and basically everything that makes an asset library convenient. For example, with an asset library by your side, you can quickly experiment with your designs and find the exact look that matches the style you're going for. I really believe in these materials and the ones still to come, so I've created a brand new website where you'll be able to find this collection and all future releases. It's called the Texture Crate, and if you head over there, you'll find the full list of currently available fabrics. For the first 2 weeks, the materials will be offered at a discounted price, so if you're interested, act fast. As more materials get added to the collection, the price will go up. So it's definitely better to grab the full collection sooner rather than later. You'll get all future updates for free with no extra cost. When new fabrics are added, you just re-download the collection and you're good to go. And that's it. If you have any requests for future collections or updates to the existing fabric collection, just reach out through the contact page of the website. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.